The next step is to remove a button of yourself, your stuff on your back. What is it? What am I talking about? What is the button I'm talking about? I think it's really situational. There are some best practice, and I don't think it's much different than in your 20s, but people in their 20s seems like they tend to be obsessed too much about failure, setbacks and frustrations. When I was a teenager, I would have had a teenage dream that I could do anything I wanted. I was dreaming of making millions of contact with a basketball team like NBA, practiced day in and day out, and pushed myself harder and harder than anyone else. I traveled nationwide and tried try out for the team to make it in the team, but eventually I failed. As I got older in the late 20s, I had no option but to stay away from basketball and give it up because I had a business issue to renew my working status in the United States, and I had a parental expectation and financial constraints at the same time. So those negative factors blocked my expectation, So if you want to pursue your career in arts, you might struggle to convince your parents about the feasibility of your career path, or face financial constraints in acquiring necessary tools or enrolling in art school like tuition. And then unconsciously you come to feel like parental pressure as well as performance anxiety that makes it harder to pursue your goal. Dream career. You experience that kind of the setback or frustration or peer pressure if you encounter your competitors. It's nature that you wanna stay away from them. You wanna enjoy your life at this moment, hanging out with your friend, girlfriend, going out for a date and having fun in your 20s. When you think you can't take that anymore, that means you are about a third of the way to your limits as a human, as a species. Learning that as a young woman is a blessing, because what it means is that you have a confidence that when things are hard physically, emotionally, and mentally, you realize, oh my God, I could take so much more and still be fine. When I worked my first job in the IT industry, by the way, I was undereducated relative to peer groups, not because I didn't go to the great school. I was in business major at California State University for 3 years, and I was confident of my English capability. But in Japan, I wasn't skilled as a peer group as an IT engineer. So I decided I was gonna come into work and joined free workshop and studied CCNA. That is a Cisco Certificate Network Associate. It is a certification program offered by Cisco that validates my ability to install, configure, and operate troubleshootings for the network issue. I spent years of practice, and here I am. I never exaggerate. I made it or made a milestone, but I was like, I can do that. So I'm physically, mentally tough, and it sent a signal to the rest of my life. You are also capable of it. You're just going to look back on the errand like a marvel. Yeah, you are not loser in your 20s. No way. Yeah, if I were at the position of a young man in his 20s, I would advise him not to hesitate failures. You'd probably get knocked down, but don't ever look back. And that's how it is. Get the hell rid of your cheap pride. Remove laziness, self-deny, and anything negative like that. Yeah, that's what I mean about removing your button. Okay, next one. The next one is quite tricky because I don't even know how to apply for this attribute. Disclosure. It means to share the value and trust with someone else. Force yourself to meet a stranger and build trust. Whenever you are in a waiting line at the Starbucks, talk to the person in front of you and behind you. That's the beginning of establishing a relationship, for example. It's uncomfortable in the first impression, and it means getting used to rejection. The only thing I can guarantee you in life is rejection. I guess this is the most challenging attempt when you do something amazing. When looking at the people with 空気を読めない which literally means people who are not able to read atmosphere or insensitive people. Some people play smart, others do stupid. You see the differences between them? Yeah, you draw the line and make a differences. So rejection really sounds scary, and even person in their 20s believe to be able to lift their heavy weight and run long distance in their brain, and in the gym push yourself so really hard. When you are in your 30s, you don't really realize you are not just gonna look back on how strong you were. Just marvel it. Yeah, you're gonna wish as strong as you were that you even push yourself harder. I agree with you. Yeah, it was such a valuable part of my life. I did at the age of 19 or 20s, but I remember not being able to feel my legs starting to black out and having to concentrate on not blacking out from exhaustion were possible for my 20s. But come on, man. When you get older in 30s or 40s, your physical strength is so declined. You know it. Yeah, you strive to make your dream come true, work as hell, and pursue your final goal. If you still do it in the late 30s, you are so pissed off. You're going to be a loser. Yeah, people around you are not going to work for you. They will leave. I'm serious. Yeah, they know you are such a incredible athlete as Michael Jordan, but not Michael. Yeah, you are Michael who has no money. Who would have wanted to spend time with you without money? Yeah, so when people start thinking you are not eligible for the highest position, or at least at the same level of your business partner or platform or above it, yeah, they might look for another counterpart somewhere else. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's very important to find your best partner. Find or create as many opportunities to find a mate. Now, what I mean by that is to get out as often as possible. Accept the invitation, force yourself to go out and meet strangers and develop the communication skill. As I said earlier, yeah, they don't have great lives because they don't have real partners. Neither do I. I have another friend of mine who struggles economically, and it is hard, but everything a little easier for him because he has a real partner. And the way you find a great mate is not good. That means your 30s are not good. If you have nothing wonderful is going to happen to you, I mean, unless you take an uncomfortable risk, you may not be able to have a successful life in 30s. So rejection is a key role. Get good at taking them. Get good at sending blind emails to a LinkedIn contact to ask them for a meeting. Yeah, they may talk to you into the industry. Yeah, the real key is find a great partner. That's gonna be a function of how many great partners you approach. Well, unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work. When you do same thing to a woman, yeah, when you start talking to a woman at work, you express any sort of interest, it means you are toxic. No, you don't do that. Yeah, it doesn't work. So make sure you draw the line between expressing interest and having coffee with someone. If you are harassing him or her, you've got so much bigger problem. I'm not suggesting anyone should ever abuse their power, but for your basic practice, talk to strangers. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, if you approach a strange woman and try to express to get the conversation going, and she's not interested, then you're both gonna be fine. Just forget it and then go up for the next woman. Okay? So what I see as a generation of men who do not take themselves physically and become so isolated that the idea of talking to a strange woman is an alien. They would rather just stay home and do something else. I don't want to stereotype all introverts leading to bad places. Yeah, that's not true at all. But the majority of men is a dog sniffing around and begging for a great partner at some point. So that is a function of your willingness to put yourself in uncomfortable situation. So anyway, in your 30s, just make sure take your economic responsibility for your household. Get out of your house as much as possible and try to be around massive numbers of strangers. We are having a social media like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and meeting up application of your mobile phone is also available, and utilize it at your best effort. Hopefully, today's video has inspired you to improve some of the things about your life or encouraged you to try new things. So what items on a list have you already nailed down? What would have added to your own list? Tell me about your opinion, okay? Now, we're going to take a break and we'll shortly resume the second part. I'm going to talk about the necessary human relationship in your 30s. Thanks for watching.